So today I've got a question from one of you guys out there. It says, "Hey Olivia, I struggle a lot with anxiety. One of my biggest problems is thinking something, then spiraling down until I have a panic attack or something close to it. How can I fix it?" So this is actually a pretty common complaint that I get from a lot of my clients that come into my clinic. With anxiety being the biggest cause of mental illness currently in America right now, you're certainly not alone in this particular issue. And so what I like to do, outside of just saying, hey, you should go to counseling, is kind of identify this thing that happens, this spiraling down of what's actually going on in our head. And so something happens, it can be positive or negative, but then you're going to think what the next thing that's going to happen after that. And then what's going to happen after that, and then what's going to happen after that. And then eventually the spiraling thing that this person's talking about is going to lead you down into a panic attack, further depression, or both of them, And so what's happening is what I like to call of chasing the rabbit. And so a lot of times we talk about the rabbit. Is it a big rabbit? Is it a small rabbit? Meaning, what's the type of issue that's actually going on? A lot of times for me, I know that I'll think of something, and I call it chasing the rabbit, when I go down a line of thinking, and then this is going to happen, then this is going to happen, then this, then this, then this, and then I'm going to die, And so that rabbit always leads me to the worst possible conclusion. At the end of a long of 50 what ifs, it's going to end in death. For other people, it might end in fear of rejection. It might end with my loved one dying. I mean, it totally varies. But so taking a step back and figuring out, what rabbit are you chasing? How big is that rabbit? And what is it taking from you? And sometimes it's just helpful to kind of go down that line with that rabbit. Okay, so if that's going to happen, then what's going to happen next? Okay, then what's going to happen after that? Okay, and if that's going to happen, then what's going to happen after that? Chasing that line of thinking down that road and figuring out what's actually at the end of that, because that's really what's driving this whole thing that whole time. Whether it's fear of abandonment, fear of rejection, fear of someone that you love dying, fear of not being good enough, fear of being unworthy. There's a whole host of things. But if you can figure out what the crux of that is, then we can begin to figure out what else is kind of going on. Why is this fueling so much anxiety, right? Because we don't just get anxiety or depression out of thin air. It doesn't just happen to us kind of nebulously. There's something beyond that. There's a root systemic cause of whatever is fueling that depression, that's fueling that anxiety. So we got to get to that root cause and figure that out. And so just the quick one tip of today in answering that question, how you can fix that, is figure out what rabbits are you chasing, and then go to the end with that rabbit. Figure out, where does that rabbit lead you, because that is going to be the source of what's fueling everything else in your life. And so we'll tackle other things, coping mechanisms, management of anxiety, panic attacks, depression, all that kind of stuff down the line. But that's it for today, folks. So make sure you go check us out at oliviapeltz.com and give us some love, share us to your friends, and we'll see you next week. Bye.